Good morning, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning on the 25th of March. In actual fact, it's more like 5 o'clock in the morning because we've only just changed the clocks by 1 hour, so I lost an hour's sleep last night. I left home Telford about 30 minutes ago, so 5:30 in the morning, and I'm just arriving in Oswestry. I'm on my way to Harlech on the Welsh coast to take part in my first experience as a moto marshal on the bike section of a triathlon event, which should be quite exciting. This is also my first trip out where I'll be riding in the dark for a long time with the LED headlights, and they seem to be fine. I've been on the motorway and now some B roads, and it looks good. Not much traffic about. It's about 3 degrees at the moment. It's dry, so let's see what comes. Now on the Welsh side of Oswestry, and the sat-nav has decided to cut a couple of corners and stick me on some B roads. These little sleepy Welsh villages are very quiet. Nobody about at all. Unfortunately, I can see some frost on some of the cars, so the temperature is dropping. Let's hope it doesn't get any worse than this, because certainly the roads around here don't look as if they've been treated or salted. Sticking to the speed limits, even though there's no one about, you really don't want to flatten somebody's cat. Here we are leaving the village and off out into the quiet, lonely countryside. As I said, the road's quiet, untreated, and it is pretty cold. So I'm being pretty careful as I ride along. I think these roads would be great if it was like middle of the day and 15 degrees warmer. Now the roads have got decidedly narrower now. There's also, as you've just seen, snow on the side of the roads. Some of the puddles look a bit icy. There's mud. There's potholes. I'm going to take it pretty steady. I'm going to try and stick to whatever dry line I can, even if it's not the right line around the corner. As you can see here, it's wet, it's muddy, and I promise you, it's slippery. Beginning to think this is not such a good idea, but I know behind me are some not good roads either, so should I turn on or should I push forward? Who knows? I'm going to push on. More mud, more ice, more water, more slippery. It's a bit tense. I'm going to be very careful. Don't you just love a British farmer? I'm in second and third gear all the way around here, just, you know, not taking any risks at all. And it's too late now to turn around, I just have to push on. Still the B roads go on, still the mud on the road. Just hope it ends soon, and hope I don't drop the Tiger before I get out of this mess. More snow. Well, to my relief, I've made it out of those really narrow, muddy B roads onto these much better Welsh, still B roads, but now we're 2-lane, much more open. Still don't think the surface has been treated, so I'm being a little bit more careful about riding more on the dry stuff in the middle rather than getting over to position 1 for right hand bends. Nobody about at all. It's now about 6:30 in the morning, and a bit of advice: if you want empty Welsh roads, go early. Don't go early in March because it'll be cold, but go early. As you can see, there's some stunning scenery around, and we are climbing up and towards Bala. So we're quite high now, and it's turned decidedly colder. Some of the puddles now look a little bit icy. So I'm being very careful. You never know what's around the next corner. And just like that, it could have all ended so horribly. Well, I've got to go forward, there's no way back, so let's be careful. Feet down as outriggers, all over the ice and water. It really is very slippery. Yep, and we're through. So the road has opened up now, so less chance of runoff from hills coming down to the side of the road. And as you can see on the verges, it's white. There's been quite a frost. The roads are still untreated, but they are dry. Still being careful. They don't have to warn me about being slow into the corner. I promise you, I'm going to be slow into the corner. I bet on a sunny day in June, this road is full of bikes. And I can understand why. I can also understand why it's not full of bikes on the 25th of March at 6:45 in the morning. Beautiful view out there across the hills towards Bala. More ice on the road, and ominously off to the left in the valley I can see a big pool of white, which can only mean fog. I'm really looking forward to that. You can see the white there off to the left. Fortunately, I think it's right in the direction I'm going. So getting closer to Bala, and certainly you can see a lot of fog pooling down in the valley. And up on the hills in front, you can just see how white the hills are. That's not snow, that's been a frost. Possibly freezing fog. Watch out for that moisture on the road, in case it's not moisture but ice. Too many solid walls to hit. And here we are in the fog. Now I've got condensation on the visor, and I'm trying to wipe it off. There's not condensation, it's ice. With visor up, and my face is freezing. As you can see, the camera has also frozen up. I stopped in Bala to make a phone call, and I checked the front of the bike, and it was completely frozen too. Now there's some beautiful scenery here that I'd love to share with you, but I forgot to wipe the ice off the camera. So believe you me, it is beautiful. The sun is up, but it's very cold. So here I am in Harlech. I've been to Race Control, and I've been paired up with another motor marshal, and my job to start with is to shadow this rider. We're going to ride around the course. I'm going to see what he does. I'm just going to have a chat with him. The function of the motor marshal is to make sure that the rules are followed. For instance, cyclists on a triathlon are not allowed to draft behind each other. They have to stay 4 meters apart unless they are overtaking, and they mustn't ride dangerously. So there's other things we do. We look for hazards on the road, for instance mud on the road, and if it's a lot of mud we mark it as a hazard or tell Race Control. We also provide support for incidents. If somebody's had an accident, crashed, or feeling ill, that's also part of the job we do. We're actually climbing up the hill now towards Harlech Castle. The roads are closed for the most part, although local traffic does still use them. So you still have to be aware of cars. So the cyclists go up this hill, which is quite a drag if you're on a bicycle. They turn around at Harlech Castle, or just outside Harlech Castle, and then they come back down the hill for a total of about 21 kilometers. So, having shadowed the other rider and then had a discussion with him, I'm out riding by myself now, getting the hang of things. Just going to ride around the course, look for any possible infringement, look for groups of riders riding together, make sure there's no incidents. It's nice and bright, beautiful weather, but it is cold. And then up ahead I see a cyclist on the side of the road. He's waving me down, so I'm going to put in here and see what the problem is. Could it be a breakdown? But no, he's actually shivering terribly. He's got really cold, so I've headed off now to find the medical unit to inform them, get them to go to him. We'll do a quick U-turn here, tell them what the problem is. Maybe get them to head off and take him a space blanket, something to warm him up. Remember, these guys have been swimming first, then they run out, get on their bikes, and it's still maybe 1-2 degrees, so they're cold, they're wet, then they start cycling. I'll just follow the medical unit to the incident. And then once we get there, if necessary, I'll help directing traffic past. So that one was all dealt with, and now I'm heading back to Race Control on the coast road. And I can see cars and cyclists swerving in front of me, so there must be some sort of hazard. And as I get there, yep, there's a pheasant in the road. He's not actually dead, just a bit dazed. I guess he's been maybe clipped by a bike or something. So I pick him up and put him in a field. Well, that was my day completed. I spent about 2 hours on the cycle event. The cycling has all finished now and the guys are out running, which is not something I get involved in. So I'm going to head home to Telford. I'm going to take a different route. I'm going to go out via Barmouth. It's warmed up now, it's about 8 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. The Irish Sea looks beautiful. It's blue, it's calm, but it's probably cold. We're just the other side of Barmouth now, and as you can see, the roads are dry. There's virtually no traffic. On the whole ride back to Telford, I think I saw maybe 30 bikes. They were all bright, shiny, clean, probably been in the winter in the garages all over the winter, and this could be their first ride out. Nowhere near as many bikes as I expected to see for this time. Sort of out of the coastal region now, going through sort of the southern part of Snowdonia, and again the roads are just empty and open and smooth, and it's lovely riding. The route takes me back via Welshpool and then up to Shrewsbury. In total during the day I'll probably have covered about 250 miles. Starting off at about 5:30 in the morning and should be getting home about 2:30 in the afternoon. And as you can see, there's just very little other traffic. Closer to Welshpool now, still no traffic on the roads. And the roads are in not too bad a condition. There is some roadworks, they are filling and resurfacing in places, but generally the roads are fine. And now we're getting into more of the sort of Shropshire hills, closer towards, I think we're just coming up to just past Welshpool. And then it's on the M54 to Telford. A great day.